Yo, what's up, YouTube? Just coming to today's daily content. So, yesterday I had talked about motivation versus action and how you needed to take action in order for motivation to mean anything. So, now I'm talking about the other side of that, the motivation side of it, because they are very important together as well as singularly. So, with motivation, you have to have it in order to get through every day, to get through any task, whatever the case may be. So, with motivation, the way that I view motivation is that when things get tough and you get tired or you're running on empty, what drives you past that point? What's going to take you past your breaking point and push you to keep working harder? And so I call that as my reasons why. They're my motivations for getting up every single day. They're my motivations for working as hard as I do and having what seems like minimal time to do other things than working at my job or working on myself, working on my food, working on my fitness, working on my learning, so on and so forth. But that's what motivates me, my reasons why. Have you guys ever noticed that if you're trying to lose weight, it's for an event? It's for, I'm going on this cruise in 6 months. I need to lose, some weight to look good in my bikini. Or I am, working on my beach bod, which is a very common thing that, in the wintertime, that when winter starts to get over, we have to work on our beach bod and go to the gym and eat right. So then that way we can look better in the summertime. Why does that have to change? The difference between an event and a lifestyle is that you're working towards one specific thing that's very, very short term. And that's what I don't want you guys to do when you're talking about your reasons why and focusing on what your reasons why are, your motivations, your daily motivations. What motivates you is literally going to get you out of bed. There's no question about that. You're waking up thinking about your reasons why, and that gets you out of bed. For me personally, when my one alarm goes off, I get out of bed within 5 seconds because my body has been trained to do that, and go to my desk, turn off my alarm, go back towards my bed, and make my bed. Within the first 1 minute of my alarm going off, my day has started off on the right foot by making my bed, but then also has started because I'm out of my door, out of my room, going into the kitchen and drinking my water, making my breakfast. And that is solely responsible because of my reasons why. I don't have time to go back to sleep. I don't have time to dilly dally around. I don't have time to come home to an unmade bed. Now, when it comes to your reasons why, one thing that I would definitely suggest is to be as focused as possible. Remember that the sun's rays don't actually burn until the light is focused. So make it as focused as possible because it's one thing and a great thing to be motivated because you want to have a healthy lifestyle. That's a great motivation. But how does having a healthy lifestyle relate to your work life? How does it relate to making you more money? It can if you apply the right habits. And don't get me wrong, it's a good motivation to have a healthy lifestyle. But when I'm talking about your reasons why, be as focused as possible. So your reasons why relate to absolutely everything in your life, whether it's fitness, finance, health, wealth, family, relationships, charity, fun, whatever the case may be. Make sure your reasons why are as focused as possible. So for me, I had a deep dive into myself. What is it that motivates me? What is it that I get out of bed to do every single day because of these things? And I've narrowed it down to two things. There's two reasons why for me. My first, and I would say foremost, but it's not more or less important than the other, but my first one is so I can make sure that me and my family are financially free the rest of our lives. Now, by that I mean me and hopefully my future wife and kids, and my parents, my sisters, their husbands, their kids. To me, I feel that as my responsibility. I want to make sure that my family is financially free for the entirety of our lives. Now, some might say, well, how does that relate to fitness? How does that relate to, your work? That's a great question. How that relates to my fitness specifically is because if I am not trained and motivated and habitual about what I eat and when I go to the gym, then I will not be successful there. And in terms of the word wealth, I view wealth like a lot of other successful people view wealth as not just money. Wealth is both fitness and finance. That's how I break it down. But if you have $100 million, but your health is crap, then what really is that money mean? You can spend it on whatever, but you're not healthy. Okay, so for me, being financially free isn't just necessarily having all the money in the world to do whatever I want with. It's to be able to use for good purpose, but also because I am wealthy. And so that wealth is where that comes into play in terms of how me and my family being financially free for the rest of our lives motivates me in every category of my life. My second reason why, and again, probably just as important, if not more important than the first one, is to prove to myself that I am capable of greatness. Now, by that meaning that I have always doubted myself. There have been plenty of people in this world that have doubted me. Given circumstances in my past, you could think and you could see that, maybe I don't deserve something, or I do deserve, this or this unhappiness, or whatever the case may be. And I've realized that I'm stopping feeling sorry for myself. Why is it that I have to believe that I can't be successful, that I can't be great, that I can't be the best at what I do? There's no reason for me to believe that, so I'm not going to believe that. In order for me to prove to myself that I am capable for greatness, that is what just drives me every single day. Probably just a hair more than me and my family being financially free. Because then it's completely accountable to myself and myself alone. When I'm in the gym and say I have to do this many sets or this many reps, if I'm struggling on two beforehand, I dig real deep and I tell myself that if I don't complete these, I'm not great. And I have to prove to myself that I'm great. And those last two reps, easy as pie. Just a couple of things and a couple of insights in my mind that have helped me through my journey, and that are going to help me for the rest of my life, that I want to share with you guys. But if you don't take any of these concepts and apply them, that's fine. That's completely up to you. But if you do, your lives will change completely. And I don't want any of you to get me wrong. I'm never going to be the smartest man in any room. I'm not saying I'm the smartest man on this subject. I'm only explaining to you what I've learned based on what I've researched and based on what I've heard, and then based on what I've applied to me in my life. And knowing the difference of who I was and who I used to be in comparison to who I am right now, I know that I'm a completely different person, and for good reason, because I've taken the time to focus myself on figuring out my reasons why first and foremost. And then from there, figuring out, okay, how much time do I need to allot a day to go to the gym or to go to work? Or how much, do I need to eat, or how little do I need to eat, or what macros do I need to eat in order for my body to change the way that I want it to change? You can sit there and you can take action like I talked about yesterday, but if that's not focused action, and it's not action that when those actions get tough are backed up by motivation, the action is going to be pointless. It's going to be going in the wrong direction, down the wrong path. So make sure you're just as motivated as ever before. Focus your motivation down to something small, very, very minuscule, that applies to your entire life. And make sure it's not about an event. Make sure it's about your lifestyle, and then take action based on that motivation, and let that motivation drive those actions, and you'll see a huge change in your life. Never tell yourself that you can't. It's simply a matter of, well, how can you? Always ask that question. How can I do this? Figure out the answer and go do it. Stay motivated, guys. Love ya.